Hi everyone, this is Jim Egan, head of school, Synapse School, with a Friday update. I hope everybody's doing well out there. First off, annual fund going strong, heading towards 90%. If you haven't yet helped us with this important cause, please do. If you have any questions, you can reach out to myself, certainly at Sarah Hill as well. Again, we're looking for 100% participation from the community. We're almost there, so please help us get there. Second, the intercession is rolling along. We had a great first week, and we hope we have an equally fantastic week 2. Read the newsletter. If you have any questions, reach out to Lexi. She can help you as well. By now, most of you have heard we are heading down the road of opening of grade 9. This is something that's very exciting. I know many parents have given me feedback, kids, teachers, even some folks outside of Synapse who've heard through the grapevine. I was just on a Zoom call, a conversation among heads of school and educators across the country regarding innovation in high schools. They happened to invite me. They didn't hear about this project. It actually was an invitation outside of that. What they did know is that Synapse has been an incredibly innovative K-8 school, and they wanted to hear sort of how our process in that design has worked, and really address a question around innovation in high schools during this transition period, this awkward period between what we're really in as a post-industrial age, yet the education system still stuck in this industrial age. And what COVID has done is accelerate innovation and change. So I had lots of questions for these heads of school. There was a head of school from Phillips Academy back east, Deerfield, Catlin Gable up in Oregon, and some others as well. It was a wonderful conversation where we looked at this sort of tension between non-cognitive competencies, which are really going to be addressed at the high school level in the mastery transcript. I've talked about that before, but that tension of moving in that direction, and that's what Synapse is really all about, habits of mind, whole child, and at the same time showing explicitly skills in content area in order to make sure that these kids can matriculate into college with the credits they need. And there are some constraints, and so I'm very well aware of that, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm in conversation with those schools that have gone through this, who know a thing about this as we design our program, because there is a tension there. There really is. So we are being prudent, at the same time wildly optimistic and innovative as well. And in that conversation, I was also thinking about our guiding principles as a school and those that we will use actually for a grade 9 project. And so I want to be very clear. First and foremost, my number one guiding principle as we go down the road to opening a grade 9 is do no harm to K-8. I'm going to be very clear. We are not going to cannibalize space. We are not going to compromise program. The K-8 experience at Synapse is just a wonderful, extraordinary, child-centered approach to learning, and we're going to make sure that's first and foremost intact. So we're going to have to be small and nimble and creative as a grade 9. We're going to have to iterate often, rely on our neighbors, Reikes, Sports House, North Fair Oaks, and make sure we do the right thing in order to uphold the K-8 experience and make that continue to make that the first and foremost wonderful thing for our community. So I want to be very clear about that. And I also want to share with you the principles that I spoke of at a Common Ground Zoom talk earlier this week. Common Ground is a consortium of 44 member schools, independent schools, that are on the peninsula, and they have parent representatives, excuse me. And I talked to those parent reps of those independent schools this week. They invited me in to speak, and I talked to them about this idea of doing hard things, and what I have found, what principles I have found are the most helpful to follow in order to do those hard things. And those hard things also have to be meaningful things. So the key here is individuals or organizations define meaning in different ways, right? So that's very, very important to put that out there. So the 4 things that I have used to help me forge meaningful relationships or embrace a life of endurance athletics, or to build out project here at Synapse or expand the school. I first start with don't have stupid rules. I think kids have taught me that over the years, right? They can see through the silly rules. And so we have designed our handbook this way. If you look at our faculty handbook, it says, wear clothes, wear shoes, right? We're not going to get into a whole dress code thing here. Don't be silly. Allow people to be themselves. And certainly we've applied this to how we've even gone on building projects, where we encounter all kinds of silly rules out there in the county of San Mateo. So when I'm thinking of building something, let's not do anything in terms of rules that would compromise our ability to have fun and get the job done. 2, exercise optimism. This is something that I learned as a Synapse head of school. Our founders brought this to us, this place, and the key word is exercise. Exercise is constant. Exercise takes a lot of hard work. And so exercising optimism is going to allow you, I think, to do meaningful things, difficult things. Equal parts preparation, anticipation, and excitement. You can't just be excited about something if you're not willing to do the things that will give you the skills and the knowledge to complete the important, meaningful task, right? We talk about kids with this. I talked about this with my own kids, right? That you have to be willing to put the work into it. If you're not, forget it. And you also have to anticipate down the road what hurdles you may encounter. When we built out our hybrid program to start the fall, and we built that in the summer, right? We did a lot of forecasting anticipation, and we were really preparing, and we were excited about the project too. And I think we had a great success. Most would agree. And lastly, the last principle that I learned really in the endurance world of endurance athletics is no days off. There's nothing more true to me when I'm doing something more meaningful around this idea of days off. There really isn't, as an endurance athlete, you can't take a day off. All right. Now, of course, you're not going to ride your bicycle 5 hours every day. And if you're a marathon runner, you're not going to run a marathon every day. But you're going to be thinking about those things that you need to do on a so-called off day. And it's often maybe you're going to go for a walk if you're a marathon runner. And if you're a cyclist, maybe you're going to do some stretching or do some work, some body weight work, right? But it's not a day off, right? You're not taking a day off. And I think that's the same way when you're building meaningful relationships, right? I don't take days off from thinking about my kids or sending them messages that I love them. I don't take days off from my job as a head of school. I find incredible meaning at being a head of school, and I enjoy thinking about this community and doing things for this community. It doesn't mean I work 12 hours a day every day. That's not the case, right? There's a rhythm to our weeks. There's a rhythm to our days, our months. So that's critical to pay attention to. But I have found when you're doing meaningful work, or when I'm doing meaningful work that is difficult, there really aren't any days off. And I have found I haven't really wanted any days off. So I will leave you with those thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I know that last principle can be somewhat controversial out there. But for me, again, this is how I perceive things, and it's worked for me to really forge ahead in meaningful endeavors. So I will leave you with that. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I hope to see you soon. Be well. Take care.